Hey friends! Oh my goodness, do you guys remember me? Do you remember me? Melissa McLeod. It's been a while. I'm just coming off a 1 month transition for my family. We just moved abroad from Northern California to Colombo, Sri Lanka, which is the entire other side of the globe. It's 12 and a half hours ahead of where I used to be. And it's been just the most whirlwind month of my entire life. In fact, the whole summer leading up into the move was the whirlwind. Now it's just been like completely crazy, totally crazy. So let's hear who's out there. I'm in Sri Lanka. Where are you from? You can put your favorite emoji if it's your first time. I mean, if you've been here before, put a 1. If it's your very first time, I want to acknowledge you. And then share where you're from, where you're Italian from. I see Tracy just joined. I know you're in beautiful Gold Coast, California, Hermosa Beach. Hi, happy Halloween. Of course, it's November 1st here and almost, we have 1 more hour of Halloween, I think, Tracy. So I had this dream to live abroad, and this is something that I wanted to do long before I had kids, long before I was married. It never worked out for me in college. I wanted to do it, and I held on to this dream for so long. And it's so funny how it turned out. I never would have guessed, never would have planned it out this way, and I never could have set it up. But I was so serious about this that 2 years ago, I traveled to Nicaragua with a girlfriend. It was the most unconventional girls trip. She was looking at property. I was looking for expats that had moved to Nicaragua. I was looking at schools. I was looking at rental homes. I was putting the pieces together of how this could be possible for my family. And so I got the gears going for this dream years and years ago. And this last year, my husband and I decided the new year that this might be the year that we could do it. We had saved up a ton and live off my income. He could take a sabbatical from work or just quit. And then by the time the spring came around, he just wasn't on board. He wasn't ready. And of course, I wasn't going to push for this. This had to be something that he was like, hell yes, was totally up for. And so I want to hear if you've had a big dream. Maybe there's something that pulls at your heartstrings all the time. Maybe there's something that you let go of years ago because you thought it was never going to happen. So if you've had a dream, put I have a dream in the comments. And I really believe that it can happen for you too. So fast forward to the summertime, this job comes up with my husband's company. It's here in Sri Lanka. He goes for it. He interviews. 3 weeks later, we find out we are moving to Sri Lanka. I had to Google map where is Sri Lanka. I didn't even know. Like many people, I thought it was in India, but it's not. It's its own country. It's the teardrop of India. It's a little island just off the southern tip of India. And they're really adamant they're not India, okay? So Sri Lanka is its own country, and it's this beautiful place, and we came in the summertime, and we had great weather, and we were staying at this fancy hotel, and we had a driver, and everyone at this really fancy hotel spoke impeccable English, like Queen's English, like better than you and I speak English, and the food was amazing, and it was just this great trip. It was like a vacation, and so we are just even more fired up about moving to Sri Lanka, and we find a great school and we look at awesome homes, and it's just like amazing. So time comes to move to Sri Lanka 1 month ago, and we don't get into the school that we had our heart set on. Even my daughter had her heart set on this school. And not only that, but the school she ends up going to, it is so hard. She's a second grader in the United States. Here it's called year 3. Basically, the kids have been in 1 more year of accelerated learning than she has. She's going to school with all Sri Lankans for the most part, very few foreigners, and certainly not many other white kids like Caitlin. And these kids are doing multiplication tables up till times 12, like 1 times 1, 1 times 2, all the way up to 12 times 10, 12 times 11, 12 times 12. Like she was not even doing multiplication in the United States. They're doing cursive, and like the amount of homework at night, oh my God, it's like pulling teeth, you guys, pulling teeth doing homework. Which parents out there fight the homework battle? Put in the comments like, I understand your pain when it comes to homework. It's like, oh my gosh, like, anyway, school is just so hard for her. So not only is she looking so different, is she having to play like major catch up. And then we find out that our shipping container that's supposed to be here is delayed. It's delayed until mid-December, which probably means it's not going to be here till like Valentine's Day. And so all of our stuff isn't even here. I've been living in this hotel out of my suitcase. I'm wearing the same couple outfits every single day. I'm wearing this like athletic shirt and capri pants because it's relatively loose and it's so hot here. So this like can kind of not stick to my body all the time. And then I have this dress that I wear a lot too. Things are just not as we planned. And then my life is in a car. Not so different than living in the suburbs of the United States, but the traffic here is so bad. It takes so long just to get my daughter to school, which is just like a mile and a half away, but it's like this 30-minute thing. And oh my gosh, the pickup and drop off is just really intense. And so we're in the car so much more than I ever anticipated. And so those things, along with a whole other slew of things that were just like one disappointment after the other, made this transition just so tough and challenging. And how bad did I feel? This is my dream. I wanted this for my whole family. And it's just struggle after struggle after struggle in the beginning. And so this week has been a real turning point. I got my son into a preschool. And so now I have a little bit of me time, which is why there's no kids hanging off me right now. And Caitlin's doing okay at school. Like last night we had this Halloween event and she was able to go with some of her little school friends. So she's meeting people, which was never a problem in my mind. She's so social. And I had an interview with her teacher conference, and her teacher is just so thrilled to have her in the class because it's like this novelty for the rest of the school to have this California girl at school. And she said she's so good at making friends. And you know what? She's playing catch up and we're doing all these flashcards, and she's getting it. And how thrilled am I that we're going to be going back to the United States in a year or 2 years or who knows. And she's going to have this great accelerated learning track and maybe be ahead of the class by the time she gets back. And then this time in the car with my family, it's turned out to be so precious. Do you know we've read almost every Roald Dahl book, even the one where he wrote about himself, like his autobiographies? We've read on the whole Roald Dahl catalog for the most part. You can't get all the books here. And then we started reading Boxcar Children, and we've read Brer Rabbit, and like so many books. And I've never read this much to my kids, nor have I spent this much just hang out, quiet snuggle time. And if you're ever stressed out driving with your kids, like how many times would I be driving them somewhere in the United States? And I'm like, I'm gonna pull this car over if you don't calm down. Right? None of that, because I have a driver. Don't feel sorry for me. I've got a driver that's driving me around everywhere. So I'm in the backseat reading with my kids. And then the stuff, everything in my shipping container. Do you know I don't miss it? Do you know I can't even imagine what's in there that I need right now, except for my bed? I don't miss any of it. And I'm embarrassed that I have a whole shipping container of just stuff coming from the United States. It's like, I'm doing just fine. I could use a few more items of clothing, but other than that, it's like, I don't even miss all this stuff. I have one pot and one pan, and I'm able to cook with just that limited. I use the same utensils to like serve my salad as I do to like cook on the stove. It's just so amazing. I don't even miss it. And so there's been all these silver linings that have come up over this last really stressful month. And one I didn't even touch on is like the communication with my husband. Like, who was I upset with the most during the last 4 weeks? And who was he upset with the most during the last 4 weeks? It's like, who do you want to blame when things aren't going your way? It's like the person who is closest. So the communication has to be 100% like on our game for things to be operating smoothly, and for everyone to be happy, and the kids to not see, like, not have like any stress or overwhelm trickle down into the family. And so I'm so thrilled for the wonderful conversations, tough conversations, but the wonderful conversations that we've been able to have. And so maybe you have this dream that is may or maybe not happening, or maybe you have this dream that you let go of so long ago because it just seems so far-fetched. Like, how's it ever going to happen? The universe has this plan, and it's going to work out way better than you ever could have planned. And then when it doesn't turn out like you thought it would, my only lesson is stick with it, because there's a reason and there's some other silver lining that's come up with it. And even though this whole experience has been nothing like I thought this would be just fun and adventure, and there's been a lot of that too, but there's been so much more growth, and I'm just so grateful. I don't overlook how privileged I am to be here in Sri Lanka for maybe a year, maybe two, I don't even know. I'm just so grateful. So thankful that you're here. Now that Owen is in preschool, that means I'm back to business. My goodness, and I've never been so thankful for having a network marketing business, because with your home-based business, you still get paid even when you have to take a step back and focus on other things like your personal life. So grateful for all my clients and my team members in my primary business. Thank you, should you happen to be watching this. So have a wonderful rest of your Halloween if you're on the West Coast and you're still enjoying it. I love and appreciate you all for being here. And if there's anything you want to put in the comments, and maybe you haven't done a free 20-minute session with me, I'm back to doing those. Just put coaching link, and then you can always sign up for my newsletter by clicking the subscribe button above. And I would love to be able to communicate with you in your inbox too. Thanks, everyone.